I'm Shane Lewis, and this is Versus. Donkey Kong vs. Popeye for the Nintendo Entertainment System. These two games are similar in many ways, but today we're going to find out which of the two is the better game. Way back in the early days of the Nintendo Entertainment System, a bunch of games released on the console were arcade ports, and these games were right out of the arcade. Heavy high score focus. Both games loop infinitely once you clear the so-called final stage, and both games feature a protagonist trying to rescue a damsel in distress. In Donkey Kong, you play the role of Nintendo's long-running mascot and plumbing enthusiast, Mario. Mario's only abilities in the game are jumping and grabbing a hammer that he can use to attack incoming barrels. Each stage revolves around the player making their way to the top of each level and getting close enough to Donkey Kong until he grabs the girl and makes a run to the next stage. This comes to a head in the final stage when you must knock out Donkey Kong by removing the rivets on the stage's support beams, causing the big ape to fall. You save Pauline, not Princess Peach, and before you get the chance to do whatever it is Mario was planning to do with her, you're back at stage 1 to do it all over again. Popeye is a game based off the popular comic and cartoon series of the same name, released by Nintendo a year after the original Donkey Kong arrived in arcades. The gameplay revolves around Popeye collecting a certain number of items that Popeye's love interest, Olive Oil, drops into the playfield below her. While you collect the items, Popeye's rival Bluto, who is infatuated with Olive Oil, chases the player around the stage in some of the cheapest attacks ever in a game. You also have to watch out for the Sea Hag, who throws skulls at you. Popeye, unlike Mario, cannot jump. Instead, his only defense is punching. And while Bluto usually sticks to chasing you around the level, he can and will throw bottles at you. These bottles and the Sea Hag's skulls can be punched out of the air. Popeye's power-up is a can of spinach that makes him strong enough to disable Bluto for a short amount of time. Gameplay. You're looking at some of the earliest examples in Nintendo's video game designs. These games both share similar traits, utilizing individual stages that are set to loop once you clear the third stage. Although Donkey Kong's gameplay is iconic, Popeye's gameplay has a few interesting variations that make playing it a bit more of a challenge over time. In the end, Donkey Kong's simple level designs and enjoyable controls make the experience a better play. Alright, let's get this out of the way first. Mario's walking sound is horrible. It sounds like somebody's murdering a squeegee, and the music, the classic title for the Donkey Kong game, that's nice. There's nothing wrong with that. But the music in the levels, ugh. So the first level has the same simple short notes repeating over and over unless you get the hammer. Level 2 has no music. And the third level is just a faster and shorter set of notes repeating forever. Popeye, however, is different. His footsteps sound great. The other effects sound just as good. The music, while still simple, is a lot longer and changes from level to level. Hands down, Popeye takes it in sound. Graphics. Donkey Kong has simple art assets that really work well for the game, complementing the gameplay. If you see a Donkey Kong level, you just know where to go and you know what to do. The simplicity and sparseness of objects in all of the 3 levels helps the player stay focused on their goal. Popeye, on the other hand, has a more blocky look. It seems more like an Atari 7800 game than it does a Nintendo game. The levels in Popeye seem to have more shapes and colors, but I think that works against it. Of the 2 games, this is the only one that utilizes backdrops. In the second and third stages, these backdrops are very simple and block-like, aging the game dramatically. Because of this, Donkey Kong stands out head over heels above Popeye. It simply has way better, simpler graphics. Donkey Kong is the clear winner. If you're going to go back and play one of these old games on the NES, Popeye is a pretty fun experience, but Donkey Kong is a classic that cannot be beat. Join us next time on Versus.